Hello, it is me, Schmibly. I got some tea and a script I'm gonna disregard in its entirety. This video, I build a shelf. This audio, I comment on that and try to introspect on becoming a better person. In audio form, how fun, how thrilling, what a good time that'll be. Two things to clarify. What do I mean by shelf? And what do I mean by better person? Well, you may have realized this is not a shelf. This is the Athena Collection Height Adjustable Rolling Desk Mobile Portable Laptop Stand Cart Small Sit Standing Desk Computer Table Workstation for Home Office Black. It's gonna be a shelf for my purposes. I managed to build it in under an hour, in under 40 minutes. The footage is only 2 times speed, and I think I make pretty good time in assembling it. I only make one mistake. You can do a lot with one mistake, but luckily I only did a little bit with the mistake. Maybe you'll see it. I'm not gonna point it out. I'm not gonna reminisce on it. Comment if you can tell when I make the mistake. What does it mean to be a better person? What qualities in ourselves do we seek to emphasize? Nobody's perfect, but improving takes work. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes focus. You gotta know how you want to improve, what you want to work on. And sometimes there are parts of yourself that you're not really aware of. You're just kind of going through the motions of your emotions. This is not to say feelings are bad. In a natural sense, they developed for a reason. They help direct you towards what is seemingly the best course of action in a primal sense. They can be misleading. For example, itching scabs. Not a good thing. Do I do it? Yeah. I want to get better. I need to avoid that feeling of irritability, of anxiety, of this'll relieve it, and temporarily, but at a cost to myself. Don't pick your scabs. That is my message to me and maybe to you. Don't pick your scabs. I keep saying I want to post on the channel more, and one of these days it'll be something I'll follow through on. I'll put library books to the side, and right now it's pretty much oh gosh, how would I describe my content to other people? I don't even know. I don't want to call it posting because that feels mean to myself, but I don't know what else to call it. They're like low effort vlogs, and some weird presentations, I guess. Rants, rambles, we got the works. I don't really have a video essay yet, but maybe I do. Depends what your standards are. I wonder if I have standards. That is a joke. I do know I have things I will and will not settle for. There are times where I'll say no and look for more, but it can be difficult figuring out when and how to go about being your best self. There are some problems you can never walk away from. Those are the problems with yourself. You have to grow through those. And one of those that I think I struggle to identify sometimes, or I'm not too willing to admit, is a lack of discipline. I could be putting an hour or two towards a project. It wouldn't hurt me to do that earlier in the month. But I'm like, actually, I want to relax right now. And I say that to myself enough times that well, here I am, last day of the month, recording this, and it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be the typical quality, but I could do better. I will do better? Will I do better? We'll see if I do better. Um, but then also, I guess this ad lib kind of impromptu. I write a whole script and then throw it away thing lets me develop my persona more in the fires of stress. I mean, I feel pretty relaxed doing all this, but the stress is the time constraint. But if I didn't have the time constraint, maybe I'd be able to be more myself? I don't know. What is a self? I think we talked about that before, but this version of myself doesn't remember. This version of myself is present behind the microphone, motherfucker, and we're gonna rap. I'm not gonna rap. I don't have any rhymes or musics to speak poetry over. I can't feed your ears words with the utensil that is my voice in terms of music at the moment. But if I did have a song, it would be called Music at the Moment. Maybe it wouldn't be called that. There's just so many ideas I have. That was one of the things I wrote in the script that I then fed to raccoons after covering it in peanut butter. I wrote about how I got a lot of ideas, so many so that, like, you can't possibly pursue them all. And so you just kind of end up sitting there idle and choosing the path of inaction, choosing the path of least resistance, which is kind of settling where you are. And in that process, you end up losing a lot of potential, which reminds me of this piece of quote. Yep, this piece of quote. That's what I said. It reminds me of this piece of quote from Sylvia Plath. I saw my life branching out before me like the green fig tree in the story. From the tip of every branch, like a fat purple fig, a wonderful future beckoned and winked. One fig was a husband and a happy home and children. And another fig was a famous poet, and another fig was a brilliant professor, and another fig was E.G., the amazing editor, and another fig was Europe and Africa and South America, and another fig was Constantine and Socrates and Attila, and a pack of other lovers with queer names and offbeat professions, and another fig was the Olympic lady crew champion, and beyond and above these figs were many more figs I couldn't quite make out. I saw myself sitting in the crotch of this fig tree, starving to death, just because I couldn't make up my mind which of these figs I would choose. I wanted each and every one of them, but choosing one meant losing all the rest. As I sat there, unable to decide, the figs began to wrinkle and go black, and one by one, they plopped to the ground at my feet. Sylvia Plath, The Bell Jar. I never read that book, but maybe someday I will. But I want to get into like a productivity grind set, and that might mean putting books to the side to prioritize my time, perhaps. Something to think about is that, choosing a few of the figs doesn't actually mean giving up the rest. We live in a world where hopefully you have ample opportunities to explore as you feel like you want to. Hopefully you could go to multiple continents. I mean, you can only be in one place at once. And we live in a society where you can typically only have one husband and one family. But opportunity is out there. You just gotta find it. You can eat a few figs. You got time. It's just sitting there and not choosing is what leads to losing opportunities. You probably have the potential. You probably have the potential to write a book, maybe 2 books. With the sheer amount of information out there, maybe that's not substantial, but maybe you find your audience. Maybe your words touch somebody else. I don't know what other goals you have in life, but You think about your figs, you visualize them, you climb the tree, and you grab those damn figs. You're gonna figure it out. I like books, and I've done a lot more reading in the last 2 years than I've done in the last 6 years overall. I don't know. I depends what you count as reading, I guess, because there was some college stuff mixed in there. But in terms of recreational reading, the last 2 years have been kind of a high point, and I've enjoyed it. But also, it takes a lot of brain power, and it's like, I don't know, I could work on something else. And then there are different areas in my life where I could cut back a little bit, and other areas where I could invest a little more time and become a more well-rounded person. Will I do that? Time will tell. But I'm just building a shelf. The base of the shelf is complete. I'm just finishing up the second platform at this point in the video. The shelf is made out of engineered wood, which I don't know how that differs from solid wood, but it is what it is, and it is engineered wood. Also, the shelf will help me because I can use it as a stand for a teleprompter. How do teleprompters work? Kind of like this, but I decided to make my own because I was like, oh, a teleprompter costs a bit of money. But then I realized, oh, I gotta, like, put a whole tablet somewhere, like, under the reflective surface, and then have some way to click the tablet. And at that point, I might as well have just bought, like, an actual teleprompter thing because I have this stand, and the amount of garbage I had to buy to throw together this teleprompter costed about half as much as an actual teleprompter. And then you add in the tablet, and you add in the shelf that's actually some sort of weird desk thing. It costs money. It adds up. The standards you have for yourself are going to play a part in how you react to any situation, or even how you're feeling at the moment. It's okay to not be happy and bubbly all the time, but it's not okay to just be wallowing in the poopy pits of your emotions. Just wallowing in your sorrow is not a good plan. Stop that. You gotta poke yourself. You gotta be an annoying little bastard to your own ego and say, hey, go out there. Make yourself smile, even if you don't think you know how. You know how. You've smiled before, you dumbass. And then you pick yourself up by your strap boots, by your stripper boots. At this point in the video, I have a shelf that I like. Now I need to move forward and create a self that I like. So far, I think I'm doing an okay job, but there are times where it's like, and I'm sure you feel like, too sometimes, because that's just a human emotion. I listened to a lot of really good songs while I was building this shelf, so I'm just gonna fill the remaining time with me singing, just my voice. If that annoys you, that's your problem. Find a new video, sucker. Haha. Anyways, here's the old pipes singing. I'm gonna sing for you a little bit of Ruby Fields by Sarah and the Sunday, and Chamomile by Hey Nothing. What lies beyond the ruby fields, we who know cannot return. We've heard, so time will heal a wounded shield. I am unaccounted for. Amor, I'll stay this young forever if there's no storm to weather here. We'll be this young forever, we'll spend this life together, dear. One lonely path's led us here, we have nothing but our peace. Release. We sing and dance through all the fear. We have all but what we need. Indeed, I'll stay this young forever if there's no storm to weather here. We'll be this young forever, we'll spend this life together, dear. I'm gonna quickly whip out my teleprompter just for, seeing if the shelf is like the right height for that. But here's the next song. Chamomile is not that bad. If you fill it up with sugar, then you throw it in the trash. You've been treating me the way I treat my chamomile tea, except my chamomile would never ever do this to me. You swear you'll make it better if I give you the chance, but I did the time before and we both know where it lands. You said, sorry Tyler, it'll never happen again. Oh look, it did. How cute, just friends. But if we're being honest, no, it's not that bad. It's just sort of inconvenient having talks like that. I don't want to hurt your feelings, I just want you to know you should always think it through before you let me go. One sip, man, I'm sick as shit. Two more and I'm out on the floor. 3 days now, it's all that I taste. 4 more, I can't take any more. We don't click like we used to. We just fight like we're used to. Alright, that's enough stalling. Video's over. Take care.